Hey, this is Jason Moss of the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance. I'm glad you're able to join us today on this conference call to talk about the status of manufacturing in the state of Georgia. We've got a lot of information we're going to share with you today. I will tell you that there's kind of some bad news, but there's also some good news that we're going to share. So I always like kind of getting the tough stuff out of the way first. But let's talk a little. I'll talk a little bit about the status of manufacturing and the status of our business community as a whole. As you know, in the state of Georgia, we've got people from all over the country on this call, but this is really going to be, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in our community as, to kick this thing off. There are, obviously, there's school closings all around the state and all around the country. We're going to have to deal with that as a business community and figure out ways that we can work through these kind of tough times. Businesses are going to be restructuring so that we can face the challenges that are ahead. Obviously, events have been canceled globally. The NBA canceled the Final Four. They just announced that recently. NASCAR is going to be running here in Atlanta this weekend, but they're going to be running without fans, which is that'll be a kind of a unique situation. So we'll see sort of how that shakes out. Of course, business conferences all around the country and all around the world have been canceled. We are in challenging times right now. There's no question about that. But I'm confident that we as a nation, especially our industry, we'll be able to pull through this, but we've got to work together. We got to be committed to help and support each other. GMA is an organization that's designed to help support and grow the manufacturing community in the state of Georgia. Over the past 12 months, we've had about 3,500 people attend events that we've hosted, and we hosted about 120 live events. And these were networking events, allowing industry leaders to get together, to learn best practices, and really build great relationships. And I think that now's going to be a time that's going to shine. Our mission hadn't changed. We're still 100% committed to supporting Georgia's manufacturing community and to bring industry leaders and thought leaders together so that we can share best practices. I believe that it's more important now than ever for us to band together so that we can pull through this tough time. Again, let me state that our mission hadn't changed at all, but our tools and our processes have. Beginning today, we're rescheduling all plant tours, networking events, and educational sessions until after April 15th. If you're currently registered for any GMA event, great thing, your registration is still intact, but it's just going to be for a later date. We'll be able to make sure most of our events sell out, and if you've already reserved a spot, you've got one of those chair spots, you'll be able to attend the rescheduled event once we get it on the calendar. We've already got several of those on the calendar for June, July, and August. So for the time being, that's what the status is for GMA as far as events. Now we're doing this out of an abundance of caution for our members and for our manufacturing plant tour host. As of now, we're planning to continue our work to host the GMA Summit on September the 15th. I know that seems like a long way away, but we're in the planning session. We're still moving ahead as if that's going to go just like we had it scheduled for September the 15th. We'll keep you posted as things unfold in that arena. Now, on a lighter note, if you've been recently visiting our website over the past few weeks, you may have noticed under our news menu that we've added the Manufacturing News Network. Now, this is where we've been sharing news articles and interviews with industry leaders on how they're dealing with the coronavirus in their business. Now, we've received some really, really positive feedback about that so far, and we've got several more interviews already scheduled and in process. Hopefully, they'll be shared soon. Now, although we're not a news organization, our ability to communicate and learn from one another during a crisis, I believe, is very important. And I also believe that with every challenge comes an equal and greater opportunity. Now, this is our mindset as an organization, and we're pushing through with that. We have been working through our business continuity plans for several weeks, and we're pleased to share with you what we've developed for the manufacturing community. We will continue to add valuable content to the news page, which is a free and public page, but we've also developed a new product that I think that you'll really like and be a huge benefit as we transition from live events to online. Now, over the past 12 years, we've really focused on providing live face-to-face events. If you know me, you know that I'm all about getting face-to-face. But we are a membership-based organization and our events really have been the lifeblood of GMA. And I'm happy to share with you that we're still in the events business. But for now, all of these events will just be online. The Manufacturing News Network subscription will allow you to participate in live moderated roundtable discussions. And we'll be using Zoom meetings as the platform. Now, these sessions are going to be broken down into special interest groups so that everybody can really focus on a specific part of the business. As an example, next Tuesday at 10 a.m., we'll be hosting our first live roundtable for human resource professionals. If you're a human resource professional, again, I would encourage you to get registered for that. But each of these live roundtable events will be for a specific topic. And so that we'll be able to discuss, a single goal. Our goal is to discuss what's going on and share best practices with everybody else on the call. Now, these roundtables that we've identified, the key target areas that we've identified so far are executive leadership, human resources, supply chain, finance, international, operations, which will include continuous improvement, sales and marketing, and safety. Now, each of these categories have their own unique challenges for your business, and we'll be able to be a great resource for you to be able to plug in and learn what other people are doing in these areas. Now, this list is very fluid, and we expect it to change based on our member demand. Currently, we have 4 full-time staff. Well, if you know what's going on at our office, we have 3 full-time staff, and my son is available now. He's available for the next 2 weeks because the University System of Georgia have closed down. But we're here, and we're restructuring our organization to make sure that we serve your needs. Rather than booking tours, we're booking interviews with industry leaders. Rather than hosting live events, we're going to be here moderating and scheduling roundtable discussions for each of these industry groups. And rather than growing GMA sponsors directly, we're going to be coordinating live online roundtable sponsors and series sponsors to be able to make this work. So as you can see, we're going to stay focused on supporting Georgia's manufacturing community. And I'm excited to let you know that the system, it's already up and running for you now. We are now offering this Founders subscription program for only $19.95 per month. This will allow you to access all of the resources that I've mentioned, plus a lot more as we make that available. And current GMA members can get the same exact package for half price. And this is just a small way for us to show our appreciation for your membership. We know that people will be plugging into this program all across the country and globally. And the membership, they might not need a membership in the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance, but would like to access the tools and the resources that we've made available. We know we're all in uncharted waters, but I'm confident that if we stick together and we support each other, we'll all come through this a better community. And guys, that's the focus. That's what we're doing. We're committed to help support you and support the industry. We don't know what's coming next, but what we do know is that if we can lean on each other and learn from each other, it's going to be great. It's going to be the best it can. Now, what we're going to do is we've already got some conversations lined up with some of our fellow manufacturers in other continents. So I've got some conversations in other countries. I've got some conversations already established with manufacturers over in Italy. And we took our first tour over there back in November. It's a beautiful country, amazing people, a lot to learn from. And so what we're going to do is we're reaching out to them to find out what they have learned in the process from, hopefully we don't get into the quarantined or the restricted travel in the U.S. But if we do, wouldn't it be great for us to have the knowledge that that people in our industry have already gone through in a different country, to share the things that they wish they would have known before they got into before we all got into this situation. Again, we're going to be sharing across the country. We want to make sure that what's going on in Kansas and California is shared with best practices right here in Georgia. We're in the same industry, and I believe that by working together and sharing these best practices, it's going to benefit everybody, not just through this this challenge that we're facing today, but I believe that it will help increase and support manufacturing in the United States long term. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple of the chat questions and find out what questions you guys have. If there are things that you'd like us to address that maybe we hadn't touched on, please, please uh, put those in the chat section now. So we'll take a look at that. Stand by just a second as we review that. Hold on just a second. All right. So there are organizations that are providing free consulting on the coronavirus labor planning. Looks like Variable is offered some free online consulting in that arena. Again, this is going to be one of the topics that we'll be talking about in great detail on these roundtables. I'm really excited about the roundtable format, the way that we're going to do. We are going to be pretty flexible. I mean, I hope you guys are pretty flexible with us and understand that we're developing this process. There will be some, I'm sure we're going to run into a few hiccups here and there, but we will work through them. We're committed to make sure that you get the information that you need. This call has been recorded. We'll make this available on our website. Some of the things that we've got sort of behind the fence for our members only. Currently, we have 2 or 3 interviews that are public on, if you go to manufacturingnewsnetwork.com, that'll take you to our GMA news page. Feel free to listen through. Our friends over at Daniel Defense were one of the first to give us an interview to talk about what they were doing for their business continuity plan. Shared some really great insights about maybe shifting employees throughout the day to manage and to accommodate if schools get closed down. If you've got one parent may be working during the day, and and we might be, they may be moving people throughout the shift schedule to be able to accommodate that. It looks like from what we're seeing, Governor Kemp was on the press release yesterday, and not press release, but press conference yesterday, and he opened it up for any school system that felt that it was appropriate to cancel schools. A lot of them did. The entire University of Georgia system is shut down for the next 2 weeks. And so there's a lot of challenges that are out there. I know that Barrow County, the county that my wife teaches at, is closed for the next 2 weeks. A ton of other school systems around the metro Atlanta area are closed down or doing e-learning over the next few weeks. We got to do whatever we can do as a society to address this, but also as a business community, we know we've got deliveries we got to make. We know we got products we got to get out the door. The number one thing, most important thing on the planet is to make sure that our people are safe and healthy. Beyond that, if we can get production out the door, we're going to do that. The mission comes first in business. So we're going to share some ideas, some concepts that I think will be beneficial. I'm confident will be beneficial if you want to listen through those. I would encourage and invite you to go to manufacturingnewsnetwork.com. Take a look at some of the videos that are posted there. We've added some articles. We're working with friends over at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution to share updated information on that. We do have on that page as well a COVID-19 update page. On there, you can scroll down to the bottom, and there's a little map of Georgia that gives you the highlights of what's going on in the area, and that map will give you the head count on what's going on for the COVID confirmation pages and confirmation cases, and the presumptive cases as well. So we'll be using that page again. All the information on the front end there will be free. I attended the Modex conference this past week, and one of the sessions that they had 3 industry experts talking about how the coronavirus is impacting the supply chain globally. Really intriguing interview. Now, I will tell you, the video on it wasn't the greatest in the world, but the content is solid. I would encourage it. That's one of the things that's behind the scenes. One of the other pieces that's behind the scenes you have to be a member to access is a list of tools that can help you develop and review your business continuity plan. I've done a lot of research over the last few weeks. We've been digging in, trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. The resources, we wanted to make it, give you a short list of the places that you can go to have access to information that'll be immediately beneficial to your business. I've been surprised by how many manufacturers that I've talked to that said that they didn't really have any plans in place. It was they're going to address it like the normal flu, or deal with it as it comes. They hadn't had any executive level conversations. It's not too late to start having those conversations now. So again, go to manufacturingnewsnetwork.com to take a look at that page. And then if you want to subscribe, get the more in-depth interviews, and have access to additional information, we're working full-time, wide open to upload and push content that's going to be beneficial for all of us to make it through this challenge. All of that's going to be going. And again, so we do have a few questions on Zoom. The webpage again is manufacturingnewsnetwork.com. You can take a look at that. We are going to be updating the webpage. Currently, we still have our live events scheduled. I didn't want to pull those down until after we had this call, and I gave you guys a heads up on what's going on for our live events. But we will be loading through the weekend a list of all the scheduled roundtables. Right now, we do have Monday at 10 o'clock is our first call on human resources. I think is it Monday at 10 o'clock or Monday at 10? It's Monday or Tuesday at 10 o'clock. It's on our website. But we're going to do that. And then we're also going to do some training on a variety of other, for a variety of other departments in the company. If you have specific questions or topics that you want covered in some of these roundtables, please let us know. I mean, we're developing this based on what our understanding of the marketplace is and the challenges that are out there. But if there's things that we don't have on the radar for you, please let us know so that we can make sure that we get the right people to be able to do this. Now, what we're going to do is we'll identify a handful of people to be on the roundtable conversation. Depending on how many people attend and what the engagement is, we want to really use the Zoom platform so that we can have the video feed. It's a real simple. I mean, you guys saw how this worked to be on this if you're on live Zoom. But it allows a lot better communication because it's not just audio. You're able to see. We're able to share screens. We're able to share graphics. And so we want to make sure that we use this Zoom platform as much as we can. Again, just as a recap, man, it's tough out there. There's some crazy stuff that's going on, but we're committed to make sure that we continue to serve you in the way that we can. And right now, that way is digital. Until we get freed up, till we can get more face-to-face events rescheduled and get that back on. Until we get all clear, we're gonna do this digitally. And again, we want to be able to serve you in any way that we can. So, with that, please feel free to send us an email if you got anything that you'd like to share with us. If we're not connected to you directly, you can send emails to support@georgiamanufacturing.com. support@georgiamanufacturing.com. Feel free to call us at our office at any time at 770-338-0051, and just keep your eyes on what's going on the website. And with that, what I'm going to do is, this might be crazy. I'm gonna open it up the call and I'm gonna unmute it. We might be able to do this, but we might not. We've got a lot of people on the call. But if you got something specific you'd like to share, or a question that you'd like to ask about GMA or about the new tools, we're gonna open the calls up to see if that works, and feel free to ask any questions.
I had a problem. Oh.
All right. Who's got the first question?
Oh.
All right.
Okay. Hello, man. Yes?
Yes. You would tell us who you are. What's your question?
Thanks, man.
Okay, so we just learned a new trick. We've got everybody muted. If you have a specific question, I just opened it up so that you can unmute yourself and ask the question through the Zoom platform. So if you have any questions, feel free to unmute there should be a little button there that you can unmute yourself and you can ask a question directly.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, who am I speaking with?
Scott Jones with Belt Power.
Hey, Scott.
We do a lot of install work in plants with conveyor belts and such, and just wondered how the manufacturers were handling limiting access to outside contractors. Obviously, we've run into a few cases where we are having to answer the questions that the CDC has recommended, and some of the folks replied in the chat what they're doing. That's just a topic of concern for us, obviously, because of the kind of work we do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have seen it all over the map. I mean, you know, we've had several manufacturers that we have worked with and are currently working with that said that they are handling this like the regular, you know, seasonal flu, no restrictions, no conversations or pushback. And then some have already locked down all access for non-essential personnel to come into the facility, and then they're screening their employees every day to make sure that, you know, they hadn't gone to either conferences or events that could be challenging or could have, you know, if their schools are closed down. So it's all over the map right now. I mean, there's nothing across the board right now that that companies have committed to that I've seen. So, you know, I wish I could give you a little bit more insight on that, but we have seen it from one end to the other. I was amazed. We did go, like I said, we went to the MODEX event, which is a material handling conference here in Atlanta. Initially was scheduled for 35,000 people from all across the globe to come to this. It's one of the largest, it's the top 15 largest events that Atlanta hosts every year. It's a huge deal. And I went to it because we were hosting an award program as part of the Atlanta Supply Chain Awards. Scott Luton and his team over at Supply Chain Now. It's a online radio program, fantastic show that Scott does, but he was hosting his awards and we were part of that. I might not have gone had I not been presenting an award, but our friends over at Clorox were the manufacturers of the year, so we wanted to make sure that we recognize those guys. But I was surprised at how many people were there in a conference that was known to be international. Now, you know, so you know, every company is taking different approaches to it. The majority of the companies that I'm working with and that I've been in communication with have restricted travel for their employees. They've not as much restricted it for outside guests, but some of them have already locked it down. If you're not a critical employee, you're not getting through the door in some of these facilities. So hopefully that was helpful.
Yes, thanks.
Sure. All right, who's got the next question? All right. All right, so we got lots of stuff in the chat. Let me see what I got here. Okay, so Tim has popped out a question, is curious to hear how everybody is handling restructuring. You know, right now, the guidance that we're getting from the World Health Organization, from the president, and from our governor is everybody, you just, you know, do the right stuff. If you've heard it once, you've heard it a blue million times. Wash your hands, man. Just make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You know, eat as healthy as you can. Now, some companies and some individuals are really preparing for a couple of weeks out from work or being able to access or have travel. One of the things that I'll give it a little bit different spin on preparation. I don't think you need to go get a tractor trailer load of toilet paper. I mean, you can if you want to. Don't know what you're gonna do with it, but you know. But I would encourage you though I want you to take this opportunity to be able to give back into the community maybe differently than you have. If you've got employees that might be struggling financially or might not be able to have the resources to be able to stock and prepare for a crisis, if we as an organization, as GMA, if we shut down for a couple of weeks live, I want to make sure that all of our team members have access and have got some reserves put back, because the potential for travel restrictions, I mean, it's out there. You know, again, I don't want to be alarmist by any stretch, but we got to be realist as well. If you're preparing for yourself and you have the means, I would encourage you to think about who you can help in your community. If it's an elderly neighbor, if it's somebody that you happen to be going to church with, or just know in the community that might need to be able to, drop off a case of water and, maybe a little bit of something extra. It's an opportunity for us as business leaders and business owners and leaders in the community to not only prepare for ourselves and our situations, and we know that businesses, it's a critical thing. We'll talk about a lot of business, but also, it gives us an opportunity to show what we can do to help support our community outside of the business world. So I would challenge you to think about that. Who can you help? Who can you impact? Who can you help along the way if, things get a little more tough, So again, just follow guidance. Take care of yourself. I would encourage you, if your executive leadership team has not talked about it yet, we need to find out what rock they're under and shake them loose and get them to talk about, these are some things that you need to look at. Part of the thing that we put as a subscription tool is I did a lot of research on how to develop business continuity plans. If you have a great one that you would like to share, this is an opportunity for you to, flush out the things that you don't want to share with the general community. But if you got a structure or an outline that has been beneficial to you, share it with us and we'll share it with the community. We've done a ton of research. We've shared the best that we've been able to find on preparing your business for a crisis or a business, interruption. And we've got those listed on the back end for business continuity for all of the subscribers. So hopefully that'll be helpful as well. Okay. All right, what other questions do we have? I'm reading through some of the notes here. And if you can't, you can just, if you have a question you want to ask directly, you can unmute your line. Okay, so that's another great comment that somebody shared. Our friends over at Variable shared. Guys, this is a temporary situation. I want to be crystal clear. This is a process. It's not going to be fun. We're going to tell it like it is here. It's going to be, it can be tough, and it's going to get predictably, it's going to get worse for all of our employees, for our business community, our nation. But I'm convinced, again, I'm convinced with the people and the spirit that we have in this nation, especially in the manufacturing community and the leaders we have here, we got to stand strong. We got to prepare people. We got to love on them, and we got to communicate. It's critical now to communicate with them, because if your employees don't know if they're going to have a job next week, man, that's a tough spot for them to be able to be in full production right now. If they're worried about their kids, who's going to take care of the baby, babysitting while mom and dad's at work. There's a lot of stuff, but communicate. And that's what we're going to use this vehicle for, is to communicate with each other and find what's working and how we can share those best practices. So again, the first call we've got lined up is human resources, pretty big, broad scope. We're also going to be doing an executive leadership roundtable following that up immediately. Those are the two that we've got teed up. Just keep your eye on the schedule and on the calendar. And again, our thoughts, our prayers are for all the folks that have already been impacted. And again, do what you can to prepare for your community, your team, and your business. Now, with that, we're going to wrap this call up. Thank you all for your participation, your great questions. If you have any additional questions, feel free to give us a call, 770-338-0051, or send us an email to support@georgiamanufacturing.com. And then we'll look forward to seeing you guys on future calls. Thanks so much.